and I am live. How's it going? A pretty long stream. Okay. I'll definitely react. I think it was Bowser I heard, but I'm gonna react to it. I haven't seen it yet and stuff. Know how it is. Normally I tend to watch stuff and then I come up on here and then I like review it or go over it or whatever, or recap it. But this is actually like the first time I'm actually gonna like with you guys and stuff, and you can get my on point on spot like reaction to this stuff. So yeah, and I'm gonna be so I saw Ashes had also sent me something in the comments. He recommended me to check out this TMNT video by this other YouTuber Skaruby or something from Rise. So I'm gonna be talking about that, and then I'm gonna show you guys what I've been up to. So how you guys have been? Very dinner. Well, watch this death battle and see how this is. Of course, my family comes down, then I'm going to mute my mic and all that stuff. But all right, I am back. If you guys can hear me, how's it going, Toby? How you doing? Konnichiwa to you too. DJ, whatever. I'm pretty sure they might have gotten some stuff wrong or whatever, but yeah, it is what it is. I've already seen the death battle. Bowser won, and I'm okay with it. I don't care who wins. I'm not a fan of both. Let me make that clear. As long as there's no anime fight. Don't know what that is. Yo, hi, hi. Yep. All right. I'll be right back. My computer was kind of acting up. Okay, I am back. Grab me a tall glass of water, a hamburger, and some fries with some ketchup, and we're about to start that death battle. And kind of like what CJ kind of said, I don't really care too much for death battle sometimes. Um, Usually, in the end of the day, I always have my own opinionated kind of thing. When it comes down to it. However, since this is Dr. Eggman and all that, and this is a part of the Mario Sonic rivalry, I probably can't help but um, sense in there and just talk about it, you know. But yeah. And by the way, have I seen Hitalia? No. I think I've heard of it because I think I'm mistaken it one time as hentai, but no, I have not watched Hitalia. Bro, what happened to the chat? I don't know. All right, I'm to the videos where I'm like, should be showing up. Let me get this. All right, is it showing? Oh, I see. That's the problem. Japan, Germany, and Italy are three main characters of it. All right, let's pull it up. Here we go. And like I said, this is my first time actually watching this. Let's see. I just know that they're going to get some stuff wrong, of course, because they literally said that like Sonic is barely above light speed, and I'm like, nah. You guys don't know how to scale Sonic, do you? Or if you do, all right, it should be loading. All right, I'm back finally. Sorry, my computer is a little bit slow. I thought it'd be performing a little bit more better because I changed out the battery and all that stuff, which you needed. Might be so I can press if you guys caught any of that. Okay. All right. I'm trying to screen share and we are going to be playing. So let's get right into it. Layouts.
Kingdom, a peaceful land of kindness, adventure, love.
All right, that's better.
Ah, boring! Move aside, princess. It's time this place got way more awesome. Here comes King Koopa himself, better known as.
Was found by Kamek here. Would command the disparate out the world.
The Koopa were a toad, and they treat these critters like monsters, fated to a life of farming for one-ups.
A different. Never allow the evil king's day in the sun. Her love was so bright, Bowser became infatuated with her.
So he turned all the toads into bricks and kidnapped her, putting their princess in another castle and another in the forest. But
yet he was foiled time and time again by those pesky Mario brothers. However, Bowser is nothing if not persistent.
Look at it! That spike. Not even the weight of a castle can scratch it. Especially when he rolls up like a prehistoric inhaling torrents of wind, straight up calling down lightning. What else?
and leadership brought many to his side. Not enough to defeat Mario, but his army doesn't make it easy on the Red Plumber.
They're the most wicked band of misfits this side of World 8-4. The
Spanning multiple territories
on Goombas, Koopas, the Troopas, and the infantry. They're the red shirts, first in and first out.
Piranha plants, bloopers, and lakitus use their surroundings to get the jump on unsuspecting or smoker. It's imperative for Bowser to covers their own vulnerabilities. For example, Kamek and King Boot both have magic while cuffing out.
Not again.
Speaking of items, minions can use pretty much any power-up Mario can. The Goombas make frequent use of Tanuki tails and Bowser me and more like a family unit.
Oh, you mean like his kid? It's the Koopaling. The Den of the Koopa Troop.
Spoiled is an understatement. Remember his escapades as Shadow Mario? He terrorized
if Bam's in trouble, he can will himself into giant kaiju. All to crush whatever bully's target smack.
maybe a little overkill. Just one punch from Giants or launch cat. Considering how Yoshi punted magic.
Lowe's knows there's a lot of hard work that goes into making the price.
Bowser's speed.
Yeah. He makes happen. He turned all of Yoshi's Island into a storybook. And remember the that goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Oh God, does anyone know how to BLJ?
He also stole powerful and morality Play-Doh and the Dreamstone, which can be used to wish someone out of existence.
What is most iconic?
Don't jump up. Become galaxies. They also ferried Mario across the universe in 3.
And he beat the hell out of him.
With all his power, and conquered the Mushroom Kingdom. Perhaps it's because his visions of grandeur were never really what he sought. Surrounding him is a crew of
All right, let me read some of this stuff off real quick. Let's see. Conquered most of the universe twice. Harnessed the power of grand stars. Flew to the sun and other galaxies. Okay. Lifted 61,000 ton castle. Battled extra dimensional colors, whatever. Survived being thrown across the planet. Okay. Helped Mario save the Mushroom Kingdom. Defeated Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, whoever that is, Dementia, and Bawful or whoever. Okay, let's
experience like him. Ride or die that can't be swayed against him.
Oh, because he's got a big monster family now?
Yes, but also when they actually work together, they legitimately conquered most of the known universe. So
he's a baddie through and through who will teleport through space and time to show what's what. Because he's Ori Koopa. Way for the king!
And by the way, I don't know where to really scale Bowser at since I don't really play Mario like that too much. I play some Mario games, of course, but I'm more of a huge Sonic fan more than anything. It's just that Mario games like relentive and all that, or there's not really a whole lot of story to it, so there's not really a lot of reason to want to get it. Yeah, I hear Paper Mario is pretty good and has a pretty good story, and there are some exceptions, but that's all I gotta say there. But yeah, those are about. Do I think it's still enough to take down Dr. Eggman? No. They got Eggman though. See, why they came to their own conclusion.
Real money sports action, and it's daily fantasy sports is soon to get into.
I can get my
moving on.
for you. Now imagine a better world, one with proper guidance.
All right, now I'm back. So, anyways, I wouldn't really say like Eggman has distanced himself from Professor Gerald or anything, or he's renounced his grandpa. Like, no, Eggman admires and looks up to his grandpa and everything, as we all know. But it's funny and ironic because he's kind of taken the opposite approach, where Professor Gerald wanted to better the world and everything, and Dr. Eggman feels a lot more entitled. It's like, you know what? I feel like the world owes me something, and that's worship and glory, and blah blah blah. That's how the Dr. Eggman gets down, pretty much. But he has nothing against his grandpa, though. I don't know what they're talking about that with that one, but I will say like yeah, maybe it's probably because like a little headcanon of mine, I might have to say is like maybe because Eggman somewhat knows of the tragedy of Professor Gerald, so he sees it as a like as a way of getting back at the world for not acknowledging his family, maybe because he is prideful about being a Robotnik, of course. But anyways, let's continue. Let's see, 50 years old plus. Yep, 6'1", family. Professor Gerald Maria Robotnik, Eggman Nega, who either he's his descendant or alternate counterpart, depends on which version. Sage, occupation, CEO of Eggman Industries, Meteor Tech, favorite food, egg dogs, egg candy, poppin' egg corn, and delicious banana. Yeah, I actually remember he had one, a banana inside Sonic X. That was completely random. Loves himself. Agent Stone, his daughter, hates that hedgehog. I hate that hedgehog. Also, cold soup. Yeah, sounds on point for Dr. Eggman. I wonder if it's playing. Hang on. I'm not sure if they, excuse me, I'm not sure if they're going to include the metal virus. It'd be interesting though. If he does, I don't see how Bowser's going to beat that one though. Technically, he did in the future, but yeah, that was really metal. Yep. His most over. Yeah, none of that. They don't have rights. The egg fleet. Don't forget the egg heavies or hard boiled heavies. There you go. Yeah, they got what? Scratch, Grounder. Who else does Doctor Eggman have? Boko, Deco, Orbot, Cubot. Uh, I know Slid and Dingo are not. They're just mercenaries that Eggman hired from underground. But still, yeah, that's the history of Eggman's little henchman. But anyways, let's continue. Let's see leaders. Got Infinite, Metal Sonic, Orbot, Cubot, Sage, Badnix, Batbot, Buzz Bomber, Caterkiller, Chopper, Coconuts, Krabby, Egg, Roba, Hataru, um, Jaws, Motorbug. Let's see. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Super Badniks. You got a Death Crab, Hard Boil Heavies, Ladybug Boss, Uber Caterkiller, E Series, E101, Beta, E102, Chaos Gamma, who, it was inside Sonic Battle, E121, Fee, which is another character from Sonic Battle, E1000, E2000R, Metal Series, Mecha Sonic, Mecha Knuckles, Tails Doll, Rocket Metal. Oh no, I think you're talking. I think they might be talking about Silver Sonic, maybe the Shadow Androids, which I don't think they mentioned Metal Sonic up here or Neo Metal Sonic, but they might be saving them for later. Pawn Series, Egg Bishop, Egg Chaser, Egg Hammer, Ignite, Egg Ignite, Egg Pawn, Egg Fleet, Egg Carrier, Final Fortress, Mako Gunship, and the Fortress. Yep, they're saving Metal Sonic for last. Sonic dodges light beams from Hotaru, and in the Japanese manual states that he must reach light speed to use the game's time travel mechanical. Sonic also outpaces Lightspeed Scion and the Sonic Colors. You see what I mean by like when Death Battle, when they talk about stuff like at least relating to Sonic, they're talking about, oh, well, Sonic is barely above light speed, and I'm like, no, he's way faster than that. Like you guys ignored a lot of the manuals and stuff from before, or at least picked and choose which manuals to use and what not to use. Like they're like, well, in Sonic Adventure, it said that he can only move at least like light speed, but we're going to debunk this because it says here somewhere that he can move at hypersonic or whatever, as if he hasn't gotten faster over the years. But I'm gonna save my criticism for later. But anyways, but yeah, let's just say that they're massively faster in light, considering that they're dealing with stuff like black holes and stuff on the occasion, or Sonic himself, But let's continue. Or that Sonic probably, if not the second fastest Sonic character in the series. And Sonic CD, oh yeah, I already read that. I thought you changed it for a second. Throw in Super Metal Sonic. They're most likely going to throw in Metal Overlord, or yeah, they're most likely throw in Metal Overlord or something. But I wonder if they're going to toss in like um, Super Metal Sonic, like in the IDW comics, just because, or Super Mecha Sonic maybe. But let's continue. Phantom Ruby. Phantom Ruby can create pocket dimensions such as null space and the egg field. Eggman invented prototype copies of the what? With a Phantom Ruby prototype and week of preparation, Super Eggman could manipulate memories, fly on bar with supersonic, and summon imitations of other monsters and worlds such as Perfect Chaos and Green Hills. Well, that should be interesting. Yeah, I'm not really too knowledgeable about no Super Eggman, but okay, let's go. Because I thought we were going to stick strictly to his army or something. The energy that the Wisp used, a jetpack, jeweled sector, laser guns, the metal virus, which apparently it seems like they're about to include that. Mind control ray from Sonic Colors, Nightmare Fuel, Phantom Ruby, Shrink Ray, Soul Emeralds, partial dispersion trap, which I think that's what he used on Supersonic, Superform, Lightman, teleporters, time reversal machine, time stones from Sonic CD, and more. But wait, there was more. That Sage should be on par with like at full power. Sage helped Supersonic defeat the end and stuff, so that's a pretty big feat right there too. Another commercial. And keep in mind that that the end kind of surpasses Dark Gaia, or is at least Tails is comparing Dark Gaia to the end. Was like, yeah, this thing's a lot more powerful than even Dark Gaia, and he even knocked out Sonic with one punch in his super form. So that's something, or one blast. Conquered most of the planet once, aren't like from Sonic Forces, harnessed the power of the Chaos Emeralds. Uh, Miscellaneous broke the moon in half. I mean, broke the moon with the Eclipse Cannon. That is the Sonic Adventures 2. Eggmobile flew to the moon in seconds. I don't know which game that's referring to. Destroy the, GUN. Let some beloved villains. And Zavok depends, but sure. Has helped Sonic save the world. Yeah, again, depends. Lost World or Sonic Frontiers. Defeated Sonic, Tails, Starline, in general. And man, that Starline thing was crazy. Almost a sound. That's how I kind of saw it, but they put that whole edit right there. All right, let's get it right. I was about to say that like an amusement park here. It's pretty good. This is what I was just moving Smash. Egg Dragon. I did like the voice acting though. I'm not really sure if you really should count Infinite because Infinite's not really a creation of Dr. Eggman. I know they said it in Sonic Forces, but Infinite actually is like somebody else removed. Like he was just a regular mercenary, and then Eggman like put the Phantom Ruby inside of him, giving him his powers. But that's about it. I don't think Infinite should really be here, but that's just me. But if we are putting Infinite in here, I think honestly that would be kind of overkill because you already got like Metal Sonic and Mecha Sonic who got super forms and everything against Bowser. Like, come on. And then they also got like Time Eater. They mentioned the Metal Virus. I'm like, yeah, on paper, Eggman really should be winning. So I don't know how he lost this one. That would not kill Infinite. We know the boy in Metal Sonic. Neo Metal Sonic. You know, I wonder should they really like? Well, if they're including Infinite, they should have included like I don't know, Emerald or something, or the Jizoids, or like Emerald himself. Well, Gemerald too, but you know, is, is it Bring Your Kid to Death Battle Day? Bowser Jr. stage. The Egg Robo. That commercial was great. I remember that from Smash, of course. You know, I believe that's his down smash. Super Neo, that's Shadow Mario or Bowser Jr. He should have turned into Metal Overlord after that. I'm just saying, or Metal Sonic Kai or something. God, that's so good. I know that he flips- that's what they say. Turned him into a whole skeleton, but then he's got to come back or something like that. Where maybe not Solaris, where was Time Eater at? Or the Egg Salamander, which are like some multiversal or universal level, um, you know, yeah, creatures that Dr. Eggman has controlled in the past. But okay. I ain't gonna lie though, this was well animated though. Let me go back. Depends on how you're on what you call it. Physical stats. Yeah, I'll give that one to Bowser. Powers. That can probably go either way. Intelligence, Dr. Eggman easily. Trump cards. Yeah, gotta give it to Dr. Eggman. Because I mean, even though Bowser has reality warping stuff too, so does Dr. Eggman with his machines and all that. Like even with the Chaos Emeralds and stuff, like that should automatically put you on like a universal to a multiversal level. But okay, and then Army, I would give that to Dr. Eggman as well. But let's keep going. We got 5 minutes left. Or let's not neglect to mention that the Egg Robo from Sonic Lost World was able to like literally throw a black hole and all that stuff. But we're gonna pretend like that didn't happen. But okay. Bowser's space traveling, traversing vehicles match the speed of Eggman's vehicles. Both had argument and incalculable speed, given equal. Not really, because I mean, if you had Metal Sonic and stuff, Metal Sonic is almost just as fast as like the actual Sonic himself. So it's like, yeah, no. And Eggman's used to battling Sonic, who is a lot more faster than like Mario. But anyways, let's continue. Both had arguments for incalculable speed, given equal whatever. Both potentially skill above dimension manipulation feats from blah 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 blah. Razor Jin, Eggman and Razor Jin never really met, but okay. And Void, which that's another thing too. How they had Infinite easily killed off because Infinite is way more powerful than that and stuff. Like this man, like literally Infinite. Didn't he not like create like the null space and stuff? And keep in mind, the null space isn't just another pocket dimension or universe or whatever. It's like literally, like, what is it called? An omniverse and stuff, where that was meant to imprison Sonic and stuff. It wasn't just like, oh, well, if he runs fast enough, like he did inside Secret Rings, to like going from like another dimension to another dimension. Like, nah, that's like, like imagine like running through the entire universe or whatever, right? But a lot more than just that. That's like an omniverse. Okay, a dimension that has like no bounds and all that stuff. Is what he called it. But anyways, let's continue. And if Infinite's able to do something like that, then he shouldn't be easily killed by some block. That would really be like a solar system level feat. But yeah, it did that. Um, keep in mind, General also, well, not General, Emerald had also copied that ability and stuff, which is why I was like, you know, if he's counting like Jizoids or, excuse me, or General himself, then yeah. Continue. I'm just saying. It really kind of depends though, because this in itself isn't like, oh, well, they all would just come like Bowser, like fighting him casual, would be like, oh, well, he's not always going to be fighting with his army, or Eggman, he's not always going to have access to his army. So I'm like, you guys might as well go all out. And they didn't have the metal virus, even though they talked about it though, which is weird. But I will say this though, I do understand that the metal virus doesn't have like Eggman isn't able to control the metal virus, even though he did kind of make something that would kind of give him the control, but then Sonic destroyed it and all that. But let's continue. It is that. All right, I'll give you that. Sorry about that. I kind of realized my mic was muted the whole time. I don't know for how long though, which is weird, but whatever. Bottom line is, I disagree with the results. Obviously, it was pretty well animated as usual. Um, Pretty much, they were talking about like how, well, Bowser basically conquered the universe, and Eggman only conquered Earth. Like once, even though we've seen Eggman conquer like almost like the universe before, like inside Sonic Rush with Eggman Nega, actually two universes together, or he's conquered the Wisp planets, Sonic Colors. I mean, it can go on. Like we can go on all day about it, but that's just story and plot. We know, like, how do I put this? But yeah. Anyway, CJ said, I voted for Bowser as much as I don't like both. Kind of happy. This is not an anime fight. So you better make your vote now and let's settle on with this battle. No time to waste. I don't know if that battle does a voting system, but okay. But anyways, yeah, that's all I gotta say there. And stuff. Not too much of a takeaway from it. I'm not upset or mad. I'm just like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I feel like you guys kind of got wrong, or you guys like, I'm like, okay, so you're telling me that Bowser had a stronger army than Dr. Eggman, who had Metal Sonic, the Metal Virus, Super Metal Sonic, or Metal Overlord. He had the Chaos Emeralds, the Soul Emeralds, the Phantom Ruby. You're telling me Infinite, which I know this is only just an animated thing. He got killed by a thump and stuff. I'm like the same Infinite that beat Sonic and all that stuff, and nearly almost like defeated Silver. Um, Pretty much almost wiped out the planet with the what's it called, the that little artificial sun that he had created. And they were like, well, and then yeah, Infinite and Sage could probably banish Bowser and his army to a different dimension or whatever. But I'm like, yeah, but that's the thing though about Infinite is that he's not just sending you to another dimension. He's sending you to noble space, which is like he's creating an omniverse basically, which that's not your average kind of dimension or whatever. That's much more bigger than a universe. Like, let me pull that one up real quick. Because if we're talking like universes and stuff, like that's not even close. Omniverse. So, what do you guys think of the death battle? Tell me down below in the chat. But of course, like I said, I feel like I had to talk about it because, well, it's Sonic. So, I'm a huge Sonic fan. I haven't seen it yet. So, I guess I wanted to share it with you guys. And by the way, I do not use Yahoo, guys. I normally use Google, but um, since I restarted my computer, they automatically have me go into Yahoo. So hang on, let me go to Google. Verse. Is a The omniverse is a technological concept that includes all multiverses and metaverses and allow them to be connected. A concept that consists of everything from the multiverse and metaverse. Okay, that's what an omniverse is. Now let me search up what null space means. It's the 24th stage in Sonic Forces and third stage in the game to use tag team gameplay style. No Space starts out in a dimension of nothingness, but transitions into a war-zone metropolis. Okay, hang on. This is probably talking about the stage itself, but not the introduction to the stage takes place in no space. It's supposed to be inescapable, closed off dimension. The purple, I mean, the purple void of floating cubes in a net-like grid above and below the infinity. Let me go back to YouTube real quick. To
Sonic. Glad you could make it.
yeah, you guys read that. If you didn't hear it, a closed off space where nothing exists. Okay, let me keep playing. just told him his evil plan. But anyways, let me go there. All right. Well, anyways, that's the end of that though. But yeah. All right. So I'm gonna check out this video that Ashes has sent me called "The Rise of TMNT is a Perfect Adaptation" or something like that. I'm gonna pull it up in a second. Hang on. Best adaptation, which is not. But we're gonna break it down. All right. Hopefully the sound will play for this one. All right. Let us present.
Of a 1980s neon tab soda as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was first book series back in a cultural phenomenon when an animated series started in 1987. It's really since then, are ninjutsu trained reptiles, christened with the honorifics of famous Renaissance painters. I mean, seriously, what the hell is this IP? Have appeared in 7 feature films, 4 series spanning multiple seasons, 13 video games, and an ungodly amount of comics that I refuse to actually count. Who'd have thought that a franchise with this level of
Do I know the exact number of comics that Ninja Turtles have? Not really. I would say IDW with 150 is the longest running comic so far. Archie I don't think they made it to 100, even though it is my favorite comic book series from TMNT. The original Mirage Volume 1 probably didn't have a whole lot per se. They had a guest error, but yeah. Then there was Volume 2, which I think had 20 something. I could be wrong on there. Volume 3 might have also had like 20 or 30 something, which is Image. And then Volume 4, probably 40 or whatever. But yeah, but IDW, as far as I'm aware, is the longest running comic book series from TMNT.
Crackhead. So, who would better judge the franchise than me, a 25-year-old woman with no nostalgic connection to the franchise?
She's a year older
Over
than
the
me.
past 2 months, I have watched 2,604 minutes of Alice, and I didn't even make a dent in this godforsaken IP. Originally, just started.
I'm just surprised you found Rise to be more tolerable than the other shows, but to each to his own.
To piss a lot of people off. And
Try me.
one well written but uncomfortably animated 2012 version. No, it's to break me, a female who hyper analyzes traditionally masculine franchises on the internet. You
Traditionally masculine phrase.
as the year they came out, except for Rise. I will be referring to it as Rise. This premiered in 2018,
Yeah, better
less
than
than
Rot.
a year after. First and foremost, let's talk about the 2012 version, which for a lot of people, what they consider to be the best franchise.
Yeah, or at least my personal preference for Ninja Turtles. I mean, because it did grow up in my era or in my generation, kind of. I mean, the 2003 and 2012 are both my generations, but like when I was like really a teenager, all the way up until like my graduation, yeah, that's how long the 2012 series ran. Which, yeah, it remains something personal and near and dear to me.
I don't know why. It was a major
It was well written, interesting new takes, a pretty interesting adaptation, etc. Good characterization.
traditional canon, making each turtle more visually distinct from one another, making April a teenager, making Master Splinter not the pet of Hamato Yoshi, but Hamato Yoshi himself, which is the only good origin of the character, and you can fight me on that, and I will drop. It followed an episode. Episode comes out of nowhere and just blows stories of the show. To my opinion, pretty even
Turtles for you though.
as far as to repeat certain story beats. But 2012 was playing one of the best for this. So it's everybody on I say version.
That did though. But okay. Again, like I said, subjective opinion, especially for somebody that said that they're not all big on Ninja Turtles like that, and their favorite version is Rise. Okay, that's cool for you.
The major one being that this show is this repetition. Now, for episodic shows like SpongeBob or Phineas and Ferb, but for a show that has
I think she
overarching
means something that's a little bit episodic, basically, is what she means by repetition. Which I'm not saying she's not using the right word. I'm just saying, like, yeah, the word is also episodic for the most part.
stories and actual
Where, at least in the beginning, they deal with like a new mutant threat that like terrorizes like the city or whatever it has the potential to, and then they have some encounters with the Foot here and there, and then up until we get to the finale, you know, or the second season that was them trying to mainly clean up their mess of the newer mutants that they had accidentally created. Then the third season that was where they were dealing with adventures in Northampton at the farm, and then let's see, season 4 that was kind of like they're dealing with their war with Shredder, but then also they go into space for a while after the planet gets destroyed. Actually no, yeah, my bad. That was season 3 with the, well, yeah, you get the idea. And then they're they defeat Shredder eventually. Then season 5 was kind of just miscellaneous adventures that they kind of all go on, whether it was a crossover with their 87 version selves or with Usagi or whatever. But yeah.
plot is not good. The status quo in 2012 very rarely gets changed, and even when it does, it immediately goes back to normal. And when you binge watch it like I did, it's very easy to see the repetition. It also falls into the cliche that a lot of comics and series, especially aimed at kids, have, which is like the heroes, they know where the main villain is. Like they know where his lair is, they know where he lives, and he's just always there. And like they don't really like do anything. Like they don't like Shredder's lair is literally in the middle of New York. Like you tell the military or the FBI, like, hey, there's this super psycho like criminal overlord living in the middle of Manhattan. You should just go there and bomb the place.
Yeah, here's an easy debunk. The turtles being mutant turtles and Splinter being a mutant rat, and you have the word of two teenagers of April and Casey. Yeah, no, I don't see how the military would just randomly just go around and start bombing buildings or would take whatever they had to say seriously. You know, I'm just saying. And yeah, of course they do know where Shredder lives at, of course, because the Shredder is like, you know, he's rich and he lives out in the open and he kind of has the numbers and the army advantage over the turtles, which is usually like really like what, the 7 of them, like the turtles, Splinter, Casey, April, and then sometimes the mutanimals. But okay, cool. So that's why they don't, yeah, unless they really have to, then yeah, they will break into Shredder's lair and all that stuff. But Shredder's not really shy about it. He's like, all right, come on, get me and stuff. You guys know you can't like you can't win, or you can't like there's not really much of a chance or whatever. You can like, you know what I mean? That's why Shredder's never really been like arrested like that, apart from like in the movies. But he's never like been arrested because he has the like the popular favor and all that stuff, or they can't like really like I don't know convict him of anything or testify or whatever because of who he's up against, and he's really good at covering his tracks like that. But anyways, let's continue.
My resolution: airstrikes, bomb them.
And then but like, no, they just continually break into the same lair that Shredder never moves until like the 4th or season.
They need to rescue Karai or something or whatever. I mean, again, Shredder's wealthy, and again, he's got his own mutant army where they're a lot more bigger and stronger than them. And on top of that, the footbots that the well, not the the Krang had created, the elite guards or the chrome domes and all that stuff. Like, yeah, Shudder has all of that. And let's say they just needed to rescue Karai, then what are you gonna do? Call in an airstrike? Okay, okay, makes sense.
Season. And then even after he doesn't like bothered me. I don't know why. And like I said, those feeling.
I love the filler. Hang on.
But at least a lot of
I love the filler episodes of this version the most for a movie. Homages they did, those were pretty fun. Were a lot of fun. Okay.
same with the
In Shudder, so Bebop, Rocksteady, what's that man's name? Chris, I want to say Thorndyke. I know it's not Thorndyke. Chris Bradford, Dog Pound, Razar, Zever, Fish Face. Like, none of them never felt like a threat. Who else? The Triceratons, even though they're like almost like bulletproof and they're immune to like blades and stuff like that, they never felt like a threat and stuff. Even though I think Zog, didn't he not like pretty much mollywhoop the mutanimals and stuff by himself while he was like not in his best shape? So yeah, they do feel like a threat at times and stuff, Or like Karai, when in that one episode where she nearly almost killed everybody, and all that stuff, and Leo had to take her down. Remember that? So I'm just saying, like, yeah, they're like, yeah, they do have episodes like, yeah, they do feel like a genuine threat, not to her, maybe, but yeah, they are written as such. Wait, let's continue.
vocal performance of Kevin Michael Richardson, who just
She's talking about more so voice acting, but that's not writing though.
so good. Also, The Rat King, which is the most horrifying thing ever rendered in CGI, and I hate it. April O'Neil and Casey Jones were the worst characters in the show. The budget wasn't big enough.
It's weird how she throws that out there, but she doesn't go into any detail or reason as to why they're the worst characters in the show. Casey, I can understand this ain't the best version of Casey, but he was okay. Not the best, but he was okay. And then April was fun in the show. Sometimes some people would be like, "Oh, I can't stand April. I don't like April," or April was all right, but no, she was good in this version. But wait until we get to Rise
Enough to
when
make
she
the art
starts talking about that.
style look good. And that's not the animator's fault that they did this with. That's what they had. It's so fine. I'm doing the thing where I haven't eaten yet today. The turtles themselves are mostly regulated to their stereotypes. Raph is a hot-headed loner. Donnie is a know-it-all nerd. Mikey is a G-rated stoner. And Leo is a
Michelangelo is not a G-rated stoner in the 2012 version. He's just a little slow and a little special too. Uh, like sometimes there are times where Michelangelo can actually show that he's actually up there with Donatello in intelligence sometimes, mainly because he's more of a loose thinker. But 2012 Michelangelo, I wouldn't really say he's a loose stoner. I will say he is kind of exaggerated a lot compared to his past versions, where yeah, he's maybe a little bit more dumber than before. But in a little bit, and because it's Michelangelo, he's a little bit naive and childish because he's the youngest, but still.
beige
But he
wall.
has his
The writers try
heydays
to
and
flesh
moments.
out the characters a little bit, and they succeed, especially with Raph. But with every other character, they're just okay. This character in the show, and the relationship between Hamato Yoshi and Oroku Saki, aka Splinter and Shredder. 2012 ended in 2016 with all the enthusiasm of a web. And immediately was a fan.
And it ended like a wet fart. I'll say this though. The ending of the 2012 series, it was kind of weird because it wasn't like released as far as I remember. I don't think it was released on TV, but not at like any kind of specific time. Like all the episodes I think were like released online and all that stuff, and probably in no particular order. So like stuff like Mutant Apocalypse, you would assume that would be like the last episode, but that's an alternate future. I think the official last episode was probably the crossover with the 87 Turtles, much like the 2003 Turtles, where they crossed over with the 87 Turtles with Turtles Forever. But I think it would have been better if they actually had a crossover with the 2003 and the 2012 series. I've predicted that from like when I first saw the show. I was like, yeah, they're probably going to have a crossover with the 2003. They never did it. And I was like, oh my God, imagine the fan base would be crazy. Like, they would be like, they would go wild if that were to happen. And they still need to make that happen. They can probably make it happen in comic form or something, or do an animated special, whatever. That would generate so much hype for Ninja Turtle fans.
who were still in mourning. And the series to be 2D animated, not 3D animated. It was going to be helmed by Andy Soriano and Ant Ward, who also worked on 2012. And people were however, Rise is one of the most well done.
I would say the 3D animation in the 2012 series is probably not the best. It's all right. It's not the most well animated like show of the TMNT series, but I like it. They have some pretty good fight choreography here and there, and the designs, they'll just grow on you.
Reboots of a franchise.
If that's your
audience
takeaway,
expectations
okay,
and
cool.
reconstructs the familiar beats of TMNT. And I know people hate that phrase, but this show does it. So for the most part, the team remained visually consistent. 1987 just had the same characters, different colored band.
Which that is probably a good thing, because why would we want that? Like, why would we want the characters to derail from what we know them as? And not to say you can't change a little things here and there, because they kind of did that with the '87 Turtles compared to like Mirage Comics, where some of these personality traits and stuff kind of stuck over from the years. But yeah,
On their belt. Guys.
more accurate to the comics. But yeah, the only difference is like the comic book, the Mirage versions are more so like they're more so like 4 feet or so tall, whereas like the 2003 versions are like a little like 5'6", 5'5", or they're in between like 5'3" to 5'7". I know Leo's like 5'6" at the end of the series, so that's about the same height as me almost.
2012 was a big departure with Steve.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of like Donatello's look, maybe like with the gap teeth and all that, but he's all right. Mikey's kind of cute. Leo is fine. Raph, I definitely like the scar on his shell and stuff. Kind of shows his toughness. They try to do that same thing with Rise and stuff, where they put like a band-aid on it, but it just doesn't look as cool, to be honest with you.
It's different body shapes. Donnie's tall. Raph is a short king. Being a giant turtle. Rise took the traditional designs of the turtles and literally said,
I don't like when some kind of like series or whatever just says F everything and let's just do our own thing. Like, no, because when they do that, then you're kind of pissing off the actual fans of the material.
Oh, and they look more humanoid now. For some reason. Like babies. We're at it. 2012 was too ugly, too bland looking. Look at these colors.
2012 is ugly? It isn't? Okay.
Rise is one of the most beautiful shows I've seen in years. I mean that
Roger,
with my whole soul. Every frame in this show is just so rich and colored. Frame any of it on my wall. Look at this. Look at this. Massive.
This isn't every episode, by the way. This is just like those rare occasions.
Were made to the turtles. Each brother is now a different species. Raphael is a snapping turtle. Leo's a slider instead of a thumbtacks. Donnie is a
I think they're all supposed to be red-eared sliders, actually, that type of turtle.
Off-shell turtle. And Mikey is an ornate fox turtle, which is when he just goes to a shell and it's really cute. These
I mean, if you get the joke, I guess if you get the joke.
Which I will get into later. Even haters of Raphael, that the action in this show is top notch. It's some of the best animated action scenes I've seen. The best airbag. And for someone who gets bored in action, which is why I can't get into anime, it never.
I don't know how you cannot get into anime, but again, to each to his own.
Loses my attention. Honestly, just to make my point, I just have to play you something.
And yeah, the fight choreography is pretty good in Rise, but I don't really care about Rise for that reason. Again, it's the story and the characters that really makes me like really want to care and stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's why I'm not interested, because I'm like, because you're kind of focusing on like superficial things or whatever. Like Mutant, no, not Mutant Mayhem. What was that thing? Tales of the TMNT, that Mutant Mayhem spinoff had some pretty interesting fight choreography here and there, like that goldfish character, right? But I didn't care for the show or the characters or the context, and it was just badly set up and everything. So like when I think of like a pretty good anime fight, right? I think of something like Kakashi versus Obito, right? Now, if you remember like Kakashi versus Obito, you remember how like Kakashi and Obito fight within the Kamui dimension, and you see like flashbacks of like Kakashi and Obito when they're kids and they're sparring and all that stuff compared to like what they're doing in real, like in, you know, in real time, fighting each other and all that stuff, like the familiarity, the emotion, the rivalry, the history, all that stuff. That kind of makes the anime battle a lot more intense, or it makes it better. However, I don't get that from Rise when I watch these like fights and stuff, because they just feel like it's either out of nowhere or it's just like, I just, you know, I've seen it once and I just don't really feel like coming back to it again.
Wrong. Wrong again. The action in the show is great. If you disagree with me, eat glass. I won't go into story here because I want you to watch the show, but something that really turned viewers off is that it didn't story, which is far from true, but it's a fair assumption if you only watch the first couple episodes. Especially in the beginning, there's far more slice of life episodes than anything relating to the story. Even episodes that seem to be connected to an overarching plot, it's easy to overlook. That's why I love it. The quote unquote filler episodes of the show are so damn fun. There is an entire
I mean, most of the show to me kind of felt like it was filler, but
episode where the boys are just trying to return a DVD for Master Splinter, but it is treated and acted like they are literally trying to save the world. That's it. That's the episode. It's hilarious. And
that doesn't entice me to watch Rise, or to, you know, give it points for, oh, the story. And yeah, I've seen Rise only once though, but like I've watched it in like one, not one sitting, but you know, I've binged it before. I've seen all the episodes, the movie once. That was it. Okay. So I can't really give you too much in detail stuff, just that I just don't like it personally. But that's not really something that gets me to want to watch, you know, a show, or that's not something that entices me or improve my opinion on it. I'm like, okay, if you want to talk about a filler episode from 2012, remember that episode where the turtles were like playing like a D&D like style board game and stuff, and there was like a mutant that had like illusionary powers that tried to put them in like, you know, that D&D type board game, and we spent the episode like kind of following that. That was pretty cool. But them trying to return a videotape to a store, and them treating it like it's like the end of the world, I'm like, no, that doesn't sound good at all. Not to me.
these little fun like real like Big Mama's Train. And then you're just like, wait, there was a story? One of the biggest criticisms of Rise is its over-reliance on humor. And I can understand that being a criticism if the jokes weren't freaking hilarious.
Welcome to my seminar. Hug it out. Dr. Feelings? I thought you were Dr. Delicate Touch. Dr. Delicate.
Are you sure this is a Sasquatch, Doctor?
Be very quiet. Wait, where's Mikey?
And I know originally I'm into
Yeah, I didn't find any of those jokes funny. Okay, I'm just being honest with you. I'm like, okay. And I hate Rise's humor so much because they're trying to do that Gen Z kind of humor. And this is coming from somebody who is Gen Z, but it's just like, or that Zoomer kind of humor and stuff where they're like, oh yeah, we're trying to be like the kids and stuff. It's like, well, Mutant Mayhem really doubled down on that whole childish, what's it called? That childish humor or whatever, that Zoomer humor. And I'm just like, oh God, can you please stop? But Rise, they were doing it a lot too. And I know the 2012 did it, but at least it was actually kind of funny though. Like remember like the 2012 in the beginning, excuse me, Mikey was all like, "Ha!" After he was like telling his brothers about like the Krang and stuff, and they were like, "Oh my god, Mikey was right." And then Mikey was like, "Yeah, that's right. You guys always call me the R word, the R word." And everybody's like, "Wait, the what?" Yeah, the R word. And then Mikey was like, "Yeah, wrong." you know, we know they're thinking retarded, but they couldn't say that on TV. But you know what I mean. But still, that was actually pretty funny though. And they've had other jokes like that too on in the 2012 series. But I'm just saying, I'm not really a huge fan of like Rise's humor though. It's just not good to me. And then of course Mutant Mayhem made it much worse. And I'm like, oh my god, must be embarrassing being a Ninja Turtle fan.
He started as a grimdark criticism of modern comics. But come on, you honestly think an IP called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles needs to be serious all the time?
Not all the time.
Really? And that's not to say that when this show gets serious,
Roger.
it gets serious. This show has made me roll and cry with laughter more than The Office. Put that on my tombstone. Actually, don't, because I'm an immortal eldritch horror sent to punish you all for not appreciating Rise when it first came out. Finally, we reach what I really want to talk about is characters. In a long-running franchise, you need more development for your characters. And Rise did something that I didn't notice on my first watch. And yes, I've watched the series 3 times in the last 4 months. I need help, please. When it comes to character, Rise takes the defining stereotype of each member of the Hamato clan and puts it through the ringer. Each label you can stamp on any of the boys is challenged in Rise, and that allows the characters to be more fleshed out than ever. Raphael has always been a hot owner. Guess what? This version, Raph gets
By the way, Raph never always wanted to be in charge. Raph's always more of a loner and likes to be, well, alone. Yeah, sometimes there are some times where he probably does want to lead. Like there was this one episode in 2012. It was the first episode, I think, when they introduced Karai and Leo had first met her and stuff. And like while Leo was off, Raph was put in charge of the team, leading Mikey and Donnie and stuff. And he kind of realized like, the hardships that Leo goes through as a leader. And like he's just not ready yet for this type of like tactical thinking and, like burdening, like watching over everyone else that isn't himself, you know what I mean? So yeah, and that's not to say that Raph can't be a leader because he has been a leader before, like in the Image comics where he became the Shredder and he was leading the Foot Clan. So it's possible, it is possible. But I'm just saying, just at the time though, Leo is just a lot more fit to lead and all that stuff, and that's just his thing. And Raph's just more of the loner, or he likes to do the solo act. That's why he's always running off by himself, or he wants alone time to kind of clear his head or whatever, going out by himself. That's Raph. Okay.
very controversial change when it first appeared. Honestly, I kind of prefer it this way. Don't get me wrong, Raph is still very hot-headed. He's still very much a punch ask questions later. Added with weight of and singular and physically
It doesn't work, and that makes Master Splinter in this version look like a terrible leader and ninja as well to make that decision. But okay.
He was put in charge by default. Even though he's
Then he kind of just stole it away from Raph and just gave it to Leo for no apparent reason after defeating the Shredder. And it was like, oh, and now Blue is the leader now, just to make it more accurate. And I was like, that was completely out of nowhere. But anyways, let's continue.
not good at it, and that's constantly worrying about the safety of his brothers.
Again, and all the more reason for him leader, or why he shouldn't have been the leader to begin with.
Lost without me. Maybe I should help them. Make them do it themselves. It's the only way they'll learn. But they're just kids. And you can make them men!
And he has a coach
Ha ha ha.
that literally mentally devolves when he's left alone. His wrath has tonfas, which give him the ability to form a protective shield and
It's a reference to preteen Raph because preteen Raph used to use tonfa All right, I am back. Sorry, I was talking about all this time and I did not realize that my mic was off. But anyways, yeah. But just to play catch up, I don't like the characters. Like I was saying, Donnie, find him to be the most annoyingest in this version. Um, Michelangelo is probably my favorite among the turtles in this version, at least, where he's all right. I understand he's a little bit boring, sort of. Like I remember my friend was telling me that he's a little bit boring as a character, and I couldn't see that. But really would prefer that over the bastardization and the exaggeration of all these characters and stuff. Raph, if I didn't say anything already about Raph, I wasn't too impressed with him either. And it just doesn't make it make sense to make him the leader, and he's like hot headed and don't got everything together. And she was like, "Oh well, I like the fact that he likes to cry and all that." I don't like that. Okay, I don't, not one bit. All right, let me exit out of this and go right back to it because I'm thinking it might affect the thing too. Hang on.
Words until the great pizza supreme in the sky, and
We did.
that I'm Viacom.
What do you get?
This is
Scratch the surface of Ninja Turtles. Again, pretty ignorant statement. It's not the best version of April. I mean, 2003 April, 2012 April, 87 April. I mean, they're all better, a lot more iconic than Rise April. Okay. That's just like the fact of the matter.
fits right in the middle. Bob's giving her the most random splinter. Oh, the biggest crime committed by Rise's team. Outside of being a Japanese stereotype. And now I spoil
See,
of Splinter.
and when they criticize and say, "Oh well, Master Splinter is a Japanese stereotype," what? Because he's like supposed to be the classic martial arts master and everything. It's like, okay, so what? I mean, I'd rather take that than what we're getting now with Rise or Mutant Mayhem Splinter, where they just make him like a goofy, kind of silly dad that's like kind of neglectful or doesn't know what he's doing or doesn't know how to like assert himself or like show dominance over the turtles and stuff. But okay, um, because keep in mind, Master Splinter is supposed to be based off of Master Yoda from Star Wars. He's supposed to be based off of Stick from Daredevil, and he's supposed to be based off of Mr. Miyagi from Karate Kid. Okay, three father figure characters for the main hero. Okay, for Luke, for Daredevil himself, and for Daniel Larusso. Okay, three characters. That's what they all have in common. That's what Master Splinter is supposed to be kind of like based off of. So to be like, oh well, let's just like make him not the Asian stereotype. I'm like, well, I'd rather take a Mr. Miyagi than what we're getting here, or a Stick or whatever.
Splinter's backstory. So please
I don't know his he's big.
Yoshi comes from the Hamato, which like armor in hopes of preventing a demon called the Shredder. So I'm gonna like use my martial arts movie star.
Disrespectful to Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee because that's not why they got into Hollywood. Well, I don't know about Jackie Chan, but if it's
So he took Lujutsu from his experiments where he combined his DNA color as like his sons, but and then
doesn't seem all
this
that
one
well educated,
tracking depressed
but yet he's got no or none of that.
couch potato. I just like the relationship they have with
And
him
I've
in this
already
version
spoke
of the
about
game.
that before. How the turtles are not supposed to call Master Splinter Dad; they call him Father or Master Splinter or Sensei, and they've done this throughout, at least in every other version besides the '87 cartoon. And maybe Next Mutation aside, but I'm talking about like the 2003 show and the 2012 show and stuff. Yeah, they've always called him either Father, Sensei, or Master Splinter. Okay, either if they're sentimental or whatever, or when Splinter died in the 2012 series, Michelangelo called him Papa and all that. Remember? So I'm just saying, there's some things I wanted to point out, but but calling him Dad though, I'm like, that's not what they call him. Yeah, I call my dad Dad, but like, but I'm just saying, Master Splinter is more of a proper and a strict parent and stuff, so he wouldn't be like that or be that loose unless they were talking like talking about him in past tense or something, or talking to like somebody else, and they'd be like, "Yeah, my dad," or something, so like so and so. But yeah, but they wouldn't call him Dad straight up.
Definitely more akin to father sons. Excluding the movie, this had character development.
He
Hated
does
this
not have the
version of
best character development. Like, I mean, the 2003 and I know I keep glazing over the 2003 and the 2012 series, but hear me out. They definitely had a lot more character development, more satisfying character arcs, more so than the what's it called? More so than Rise. Okay, 20. I mean, the 2003 version of Splinter. Yeah, he may not have had a huge story apart from being a rat, like in the pet of Hamato Yoshi and all that. But I mean, we really see some closure with him in season 4, where he comes back as a spirit and then slays the Tengu Shredder, and then him and Witchclaw have that moment. All right, I am back.
Splinter, and honestly, I wasn't really a fan at first either. But part of me just felt like they were with this, and that I just needed to trust them and be patient. Holy shit, does it pay off? Because this is iteration of are good. There's not a lot of in the show, mostly new ones. Their version of Shredder was fantastic. If they hadn't had to rewrite the season 2 finale in 6 weeks,
He wasn't. He wasn't fantastic. I mean, the only takeaway that people have was that he was like powerful and animalistic and all that, but that's about it. I mean, I hate the whole redemption angle that they gave for Shredder in this version, and all that other stuff.
3 seasons worth of story and character development in 4 11-minute episodes. I mentioned that I hate Viacom. The new villains are pretty good. Draxum is great. Big Mama is another main player, and she is hilariously intimidating. The minor villains are decent. Warren Stone is my favorite. He's so freaking funny. Oh my gosh. The Foot Clan is cool. They actually have like perfect.
I will give Rise this though. Their villains are actually pretty creative and interesting, but the Foot Ninjas though, no, they're trash. There's nothing interesting about their personalities or character whatsoever. Um, yeah, I'd rather take the Foot Soldiers from well all the other versions and stuff, whether they're robots, Invisible Foot, Mystic Foot, what else? The Elite Guard or the Elite Foot Ninja and all that, the Chrome Domes, the Foot Bots, whatever. I would take all that stuff any day. Or I think that's better, like a better utilization of the Foot Ninjas than what Rise did, where it's only like two members and then CJ, and that's about it. Like that's so dumb because they're known
I
for
also
their
like
skill
Kelly's
and their
version
numbers. But
because
okay,
you don't even know that it's
let's keep
until
going.
the end. And the Krang. Oh my! Oh my god!
Strength always prevails.
Oh my god. Oh my god. He on X Games mode.
I will leave it at this. But Rise's version.
I will say that this version of Krang actually was pretty interesting. It was kind of weird though that they never really specified which Krang he was because there was like three other or two other characters called Krang, like a female Krang, some other Krang, and then the Krang that Raph and Leo were dealing with. But we know that's the main Krang. All that.
of the Krang makes every other Krang look like a
Roger.
Now, finally, Leo. Leonardo. Nardog, the fictional equivalent of lukewarm tap water. Essential, but I'd rather drink a clear American.
I think this is the part that Ashes was telling me about, that where he was agreeing on some of her points on, because he thinks that Leo is a boring character. And again, that's no disrespect or no offense for his opinion, but I completely disagree about people thinking, oh, well, Leo's just boring or whatever. And it's not most people, honestly. Some people, sure, for some fans, that's cool. But no, Leo's definitely far from a boring character and stuff. At least in the older versions or whatever, or anything that came before Rise, yeah, they were pretty interesting characters, or at least could definitely hold down the story without the rest of the turtles. But let's continue.
I said, shut up, Leo, and every other iteration of this franchise could power the sun. He's boring as hell in 87. He's boring as hell in
87, I can't really defend that much, but how's he boring as hell in the 2003 version? Hang on. Anyways, I am back. What was I saying? No, definitely not in the 2003 version. I mean, because look, Leo is able to carry his own without the turtles and stuff. Which I'm not saying that he don't need his brothers, because he does sometimes, but most of the time, sometimes he can have storylines, or he has storylines where he doesn't need his brothers to really like carry it for him, you know. And arguably, probably some of the best solo stories is by Leo and stuff. Like, for example, the Chaucha thing, or if you're talking about 2003, which I stopped going, Prodigal Son, the episode before that about, what was it, where he ends up traveling to Japan and meets the Ancient One, that episode. What else? Some of the stuff after Exodus, Samurai Tourist. I mean, like, yeah, DNA is thicker than water. Like, Leo has some of the best like focused episodes, in my honest opinion. That's why Leo used to be like my favorite turtle growing up. Now it's Donatello, but I would say like Leo's second in my opinion as far as like my favorite turtles go. But he's not boring, far from it. And then 2012 Leo. I mean, I mentioned earlier the episode with like Karai, where Leo learned healing hands and took her down on a 101. I mean, like, yeah, there are some pretty good like solo like centered Leo centered episodes. Well, let's continue.
three. Most of the time, there's actually a couple of moments where I was like, "Oh, that's pretty good." Actually, I like that. That was pretty. That was good. Well, he's
That's a Leo,
fine,
all that
definitely
stuff.
improvement, but most of the time, Leo is not Mario. He's Luigi.
Well,
It's a 4-player team, but okay.
figures, why don't you go ahead and jump first?
That is until Rise said, "I'm Leonardo. That's so damn good." But all that being said, I didn't like this at first. Leonardo
Caesaring.
back in Hollywood, so that every time I see them, the Leo
This is Sonic, by the way, from the movie.
while on his side, relies on web. Leo just
Rise. I was actually keeping an open mind about, oh, okay, so what is Leo going to be? And basically, he's just trying to be the wannabe
forth between his portals, all just to piss his ass off. It also takes the longest to
Raph is
master
always
his
like
skills.
sarcastic
I
one.
didn't notice that until just
Actually
now.
does kind of land with the
This
jokes.
Leo is definitely a strategist, usually defeating enemies, tricking them rather than overpowering them. When Leo and Raph fight in this version, it's very rarely about leadership stuff. It's mostly about Leo.
It's never about leadership stuff. Hang on. How long am I going to stay live? Not too much longer, but I'm going to just finish this up and probably like show you what I've been up to, and then that's about it.
Being lazy and not taking things seriously. He's also
Kathleen, enough.
This
To be gay or flamboyant.
so insecure. Don't know what for. He's constantly seeking the approval of
And
his
at one point, I
brothers,
actually
the
did think
approval
that
of
was
his
canon
dad,
in this
his
show, and I was
buddy.
like,
He
"You've
turns
got to be
everything
kidding
into
me."
competition to prove that he actually has worth on the team, and he's constantly talking himself up to the point where he sounds like a dick. And in the show, you realize this is all to hide the fact that Lee's himself.
Was US
That his brothers don't need him, and that thought terrifies him. Just a little side thing, I really connected with this version of Leo, but I think that's why at first I didn't like him, because I saw a lot of myself in him, and just so I
like this version of Leo. He's all right. But when they got to that movie and stuff, that's where I was like, "Oh, okay, now I really don't like his character." After that movie and stuff, I was like, "Oh, great." But anyways, what was I gonna say? But she's gonna go into like some detail about her family life.
from a big family. I come from a big family, and I have all sisters, and all my sisters have been intelligent, gorgeous, amazing people. I just have a big inferiority complex when it comes to my sisters, and I don't think I've ever admitted that to them. They were cheerleaders, they were popular, I was on the debate team, so I've always felt so inferior to them. So like, to see a character that I relate to so much and to dislike them just says a lot about me that I probably need to address. I don't know. Anyways, moving on. This is getting uncomfortable. This is getting too personal. Let's move on.
A little bit though, is that I do actually have a brother and a sister and whatnot. An older brother and older sister though. Never really felt like that with them. I always kind of stood out in a way because my brother, he's like the oldest, and he's also like kind of the smart one too. My sister, she's the girl in the family and stuff on my dad's side, and the middle child. And then there's me, who I'm the youngest, but I'm also like the most creative, and I'm also like good at art and everything. So yeah, tell US and Germany get StreamYard. Okay, yeah, they really do need to, but I guess I'm happy for that I haven't had too many problems like I've had in the past. But anyways, back to my family life. So, but for me though, yeah, I've always been like more of the artist or the creative one in my family and stuff, and I probably got it. Like I got it from my uncle and my aunts on my dad's side mostly, and then it kind of skipped my dad's generation because he was the youngest. But yeah, so that's a little bit story about some of my artistic skills and how I might have inherited that. But anyways, or at least my passion for it. But anyways, where was I gonna go with this here? Yeah, but I guess the closest example I would have to say is probably with my stepbrother on my mom's side, where Yeah, we're a lot more closer in age compared to like any of my other siblings and stuff. And yeah, there were some times where like I was annoyed or jealous about him though, even though he's younger. But it's like, oh, he's younger. He has this kind of like attitude where he's a little bit arrogant and annoying, but they worship him or praise him like to the moon and everything. So we had a little bit of a rivalry kind of thing, sibling rivalry, but it wasn't too bad, you know. We got along and all that stuff, and I think we kind of like follow each other on Instagram, or at least I follow him or whatever to see what he's been up to since it's been a while. But yeah, so I definitely know the feeling. But let's continue.
At first glance, this seems to be there's actually shades of Leo in all of them. All Leos are
Like,
constantly seeking the approval of Splinter, and they're constantly doubting their abilities to lead. They all think they know about being the best fighters. They're all more cunning and took Leo.
well, I wouldn't really say he's more of a strategist more than not. I mean, yeah, being a ninja and stuff, it comes with the territory, but yeah, but he's more of a like just a thinker and stuff. But continue.
Saying that 5 times fast. And challenged it. They made it something he had to grow into, something he wasn't just given. And this really comes to a head in the movie. And
And it wasn't something that he was just given leadership. No, he Leo's a hard worker and stuff. Even as the leader and stuff, he's worked really hard to maintain being a leader. He has to carry on the burden and all that stuff. So it doesn't make sense to make Raph the leader for the time being, who is like the hothead and not the most efficient, and then eventually make Leo the leader until like what the last episode, and then sort of in the movie where really Raph is the leader still, but like Leo's like, oh well, I'm gonna be the leader now that Raph's out of commission. Like, no. I'm saying at least not for this story, like no. But anyways, let me get back to Leo though. Um let me think. But yeah, but Leo's more of a hard worker and stuff, which I'm gonna go more into when she talks about the whole magic stuff that they were talking about.
I won't spoil anything for like this version of Leo, but he also and he wasn't my favorite character. But after the movie, favorite character in the show. If there's
He's
anything
not mine.
from this video, it's that changing and challenging a franchise can be a good thing, and it can really pay off. It's like Hollywood has all their dead horses, popular IPs for a while. Taking aspects of existing franchise, challenging them and improving them, creating something familiar, but can result in art. You can tell everyone involved in the show, from the voice actors to the animators to the writers, were just having the time of their lives.
Hey, buddy, I'm from the, oh, I don't know, Swedish Chef Award, and I'm here to give some kind of golden rolling. Nice. But I just need you to fill out a simple questionnaire. And then, hey, what's from Swagger?
Especially the animation team. And it is a crime that Viacom did not think the
Too
show
bad the
would
character
keep
designs are
around.
terrible.
Rise canceled, more like put in a freezer.
It was
They
canceled.
made them end season 2
This
in a
came out
way
a
that
year
could be
ago, so
considered
a
a
little bit
series
before
finale, but they
Mayhem.
also didn't straight up canceled. After we released in August, there was a surge of new, self-included, fandom, how great and how ground. Go watch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Terrible show.
Or don't. I can't make you do anything. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Did you agree with me? Do you think I'm an idiot? Put it all
Completely
down
disagree.
below. I will see you in the next video.
All right, and that's the end of that. All right, I'm going to show you guys what I've been working on for the past month, and then I'm about to call it a quits with this stream. So let's pull up my animation. This will take a minute of some loading and all that. too bad I should have had else to say about like Rise and defending it, maybe some of his positions, because I know he keeps going back and forth with me a little bit in the comments. I mean, we're not back and forth, but we kind of stuff about how he thinks Leo's a little bit boring and that Rise is a more better take on him. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. And that Leo, he's not a boring character. Like, just because he's the leader, he's more of the Boy Scout, the traditional kind of guy, that doesn't make him boring and stuff. I mean, again, I've mentioned before, Leo's had solo stories where he's carried his stuff. Yeah, like the stuff I mentioned, like from 2012, Harai, or so on and so forth. Vision Quest, if you want to count that one, or that episode, yeah, or some makes and stuff. Like, if you don't know, like, what was that? Like, he blind and he was, you know, sensing things or something like that. Which, if you have stuff, but yeah, where it was like nothing but silhouettes, and Leo was like being put on a test by her, trying to like regain like how to. All right, behold, Adobe Animate. Now let me pull up my file. Projects. All right, it is loading up. Give it 1 second. There we go. All right. So this is what I've been working on for the past month since like I think what was it, October 4th or something, or October 3rd. I know it's been a minute, but it started off with me just doing some hand drawings and stuff. I kind of wanted to. I've been thinking about making like a Felicia series, and in case you don't know who Felicia is, she's the cat girl from Darkstalkers and stuff. I really like the character a lot. She's probably my favorite character from that game and all that stuff. And I just kind of felt like, she's never in her and the Darkstalkers never really got like a whole lot of like attention or anything, or they got an attention, all right, but not like from Capcom or nothing else apart from like maybe that limited OVA series or the cartoon that came out in the 90s, which was kind of like inaccurate compared to the games and all that stuff. Or what else have they had? And then just like 3 games or 4 or whatever. But really, it's just 3 games or 2 if you want to be technical. Because the first game is just the first game. The second game, they changed up the play style and just added in Cinco and Donovan. And then the third game is like a completely different game where they made Jeddah Dome the main villain and introduced a few newer characters in there, like BB Hood or Queen Bee or whatever. But yeah. But anyways, yeah, so let me play this. So I've been working on this and stuff. I was thinking, wanted to do a Felicia, kind of the animated series and all that stuff. So I kind of started off this episode like doing it with like a Felicia versus like Fei Long kind of thing, make it a little entertaining and stuff. So if it seems a little slow, it'll be a little slow, and then I'll pull up the actual demonstration in a second, the test movie, and just show you what I got so far. And trust me, I definitely got a lot more, but yeah, here it is. So what will it be? Rules or no rules? Well, so what will it be? Rules or no rules? And then we get to Fei Long. No rules. Just give me your all. As you can see, I use Fei Long's design from a Street Fighter 2V and all that stuff versus like his normal look or his normal hairstyle, because I didn't want to make him look too much like Bruce Lee already. But and he's like, "Hey, you, Lex, right?" And then Lex in the corner is like, "Wait, who, me?" Yeah, whatever damages we cause, I'm gonna cover it. So like, this guy, so again, gets that crazy, he'll pay for the damages and all that. Because Fei Long should be rich, because he is a popular movie star after all. And he's like, "What?" That's Lex. He's actually a character from the Darkstalker cartoon. So like, usually Felicia goes to this gym and stuff, and Lex is always trying to like date Felicia, or is always making these bets where I get to go on a date with you or whatever. But if I win, then you get to pay me like $10,000 or pay for these around the world trip tickets to so and so. And I'm like, dang, that is not a fair deal whatsoever. Then I had this little Bruce Lee reference, or no, not Bruce Lee. This is Fei Long's reference. "You must learn to block, or my speed will always overcome you." That's kind of one of his win quotes after like a little brief scuffle. And then we get more of a little combination right there between Fei Long and Felicia. She gets in a couple scratches, hits her with a tail, kicks him upwards, gets that little aerial combo in, bam, bam, and then knocks him down. Then Fei Long gets up like that. Yep. So yeah. And you're probably wondering, I mean, it looks a little sluggy. What's with the background and all that stuff. Now let me play the actual movie and stuff, a couple of times so you guys can see how it definitely will turn out. And this isn't even the rest of it. This is most of it though, but this is like the fight portion of it. I'm almost finished with it though. I just need to animate some of it in there. So will it be rules or no rules? No rules. Just give me your all. Hey you, Lex, right? Whatever damages we cause is on me. What? Dude. Trust me, once it gets past this first one, it's gonna get a lot faster. You must learn to block or my speed will always overcome you. See, look how fast that is already. It's a little lagging, but yeah, there you go. All right, this is the second time. Wait for it. You can see it's a lot more faster now. Yep, there it is. That combo. Let me full screen it now. This part will be cut out, by the way, or this part right here. I'm not gonna lie though, when I drew Lex, I accidentally made his outline gray right here, as you can see. But since it's so quick and stuff, I mean, it's just a blink you're missing. So I kind of just overlooked it and I was like, all right, well, it's a little bit too late for that now, but whatever. But I definitely love to make more of these animations and stuff and make them more in a timely kind of manner and stuff. Some of them might just be like just straight up dialogue versus just straight up like action and movement. Since obviously that takes a while, and it took me like a month just to get almost like 30 seconds done of this. But hey, I still like it though. All right. Anyways, that's the end of that. Let me I'm about to end the stream in just a second. But I definitely do hope you guys enjoyed watching me react to the death battle of Dr. Eggman versus Bowser. Of course, and this might be my own bias, but I do think Dr. Eggman should have won. But again, I don't know how to really scale Mario characters for the time being. So who's to say? Like I'm not really like, oh, I can't like give you an indefinite answer. But based off of like what Death Battle has showed me, I'm like, yeah, Dr. Eggman has so much in his courtyard and stuff. He had Infinite, he had Sage and stuff. He's had like Metal Sonic or Neo Metal Sonic or Super Neo Metal Sonic, or he could have gone Metal Overlord, Metal Sonic Kai, like all that stuff. Like whatever happened to that, Or he had the Chaos Emeralds, the Solar Emeralds, the Phantom Ruby, all that stuff. And you're telling me that Bowser was still beat Dr. Eggman? Yeah, right. They didn't even show Time Eater, none of that stuff. But outside of that, my criticism for the results and all that stuff, for the scaling, I mean, of course, it was well animated and stuff. Turned out really awesome and everything. So, yeah. So I can't really complain, And I'm not actually complaining. I'm just like, oh, my pride as a Sonic fan is just like, sure, whatever, I guess. But yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna play this one more time, and then I'm about to end it off on here. So I am definitely happy you guys kind of came through, even though I know CJ was saying a lot of stuff, talking a lot of stuff on the side of his neck, talking about some, bro, why did you stop the stream? What are you doing? And I'm not, and again, I'm not sure if he's new here. I mean, I know CJ's been on my thing before, but I'm like, I didn't intentionally try to stop the stream. Obviously, it just happened. Technical errors or whatever. StreamYard. What the hell just happened? What's wrong with your mic, dude? It is clearly vibrating. I can barely hear a word you're saying. You really stopped the streaming 3 times already. Look, I know, and I really do try, but I'm telling you, it is StreamYard, bro. But it is what it is. But anyways, yeah. But I hope you guys look forward to my Felicia animation and stuff. I also had another idea after this, but who knows how long that might take, where Felicia and Cinco might team up and stuff and try to like save one of Felicia's friends from like some kind of cult that hates Darkstalkers or something. So just a little thought, but maybe I might say that for another time and focus on some other stuff for like animation wise. But at least this does give me something to do, and I do enjoy it. So, anyways, this is the Jonah Lowe Fox, and I'm out. Wait, hang on, what's this? Wait, are you working with Verzabus or something? No, this is actually what you call it? This is sorry, that name threw me off. Dino Suddy sounded like Dino, Slutty. I was like, what? But no, this is Adobe Animate and stuff. Sometimes animators use this to kind of like animate stuff like Rick and Morty and all that, or like professional type shows. So I have a little bit of a subscription to it for like about a year. So yeah. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream and stuff. I know I haven't been the most expressive, and I know there's been some interruptions here and there, but this is the Jonah Lowe Fox, and I'm out. Peace, and until we meet again.